Hey guys, we're going to be using the same setup as yesterday, except the blade is the inked version. I'm going to be using the Eclipse scent from Highland Springs Soap Company. Going to be using this monstrous 35mm Thader brush. My first time out with it yesterday, I really enjoyed it. And another thing I enjoyed was the Haircut and Shave Company Titanium Z074. Zero blade exposure, neutral blade exposure. And today we're going to be putting the inked Astra in it instead of the etched Astra from yesterday. Etched meaning the laser etching on the blade. You'll very quickly be able to see the inked version is so easy to identify because of the etching. This Astra etching is very light. It is something you have to have the right angle with to your light to be able to see it. I mean, big deal, right? If you found your right blade, I mean, you don't care really whether it's easy to to see that the blade label or not. I guess it's only relevant for people like me who show what blade they're using online. It's a little bit of a bother to try to get that angle right. There we go, get it locked down. All right. And then my little soap cup that I use for my other Badger brushes is just really not quite big enough for my Thader, my Mega Thader, Godzilla Thader. So that is what it is. I'm going to duplicate the shave from yesterday because I'm going to use the same soap because I want to get that same performance. Also, I really enjoyed this scent. Just a manly kind of low note kind of scent with things like leather and musk and woodiness, that kind of thing. Oh yeah, there's that leather. Man, good stuff. There's a story behind it. It'll be in the description in terms of like the promotional story they like to tell you to to justify the reason they called it what they did. All right, so we will. I like the scent so much, I went ahead and loaded it off the puck instead of scooping it because I knew I'd be keeping it around. So I'm going to get my face wet now. Kind of a standard 24-hour shave today. Loaded for maybe 35 seconds yesterday. Ended up with plenty of lather. So let's just do 30 seconds today because we're going to have a little bit of moisture left over in the soap. This brush holds a lot of water, as you might imagine. It's not super dense, and I'm so happy about that because with this huge knot, that would have just been a whole lot of backbone, and I'm not a fan of a lot of backbone. So I'm going to shake off a lot of the water out of there. The tips are gathering a little bit, but it's not because they're jelly. At least at this point, they're not. At this point, they're not jelly. All right, so just a standard 30-second load. We'll start right at 51 there. So we'll go to 21. These tubs kind of start to look a little small with brushes like this. This soap had a nice performance before. It does seem to have some oils and butters, and so it's not quite a pure slickness that is my kind of ultimate favorite, but it is still a very enjoyable soap. I bet the cologne for this would be really nice. It'd be pretty polarizing, I would guess, but it would be neat. Sometimes when I have an extra mess, when I ended up making too much lather, you know, and that means I've got a lot of lather floating around in my various bowls here because I'm not in front of a sink. I wish that I had the benefits of the sink, but as long as I kind of keep the lather tight, it works out just fine. Yeah, I got some new blades in. These personas. And what are they? They kind of have the blue envelope like the lab blues. What do they say? Oh yeah, they say the comfort coated. Yeah, so so I think that's the same as the lab blues, which I'm a big fan of. All right, let's start working this lather together. As you can see, there wasn't a ton of it appearing on the brush, but I have faith. Now with a big brush like that, it's going to need us to go ahead and add water. And I forgot to fill up my syringe, my jigger. And there we go. We'll start out with 40 milliliters. And I ended up using 30 milliliters, I think, yesterday. This brush just can hold a lot of moisture. Now in this case, what I'm doing is I added some water, and then it was a pretty thin result there that had some kind of bubbling going on. And so then I didn't immediately add any more water until what I'm doing right now. I'm switched to present tense. I am now watching it. I'm waiting for that thin, airy bubbliness to combine with the soap that's in the brush, and sure enough, you can see we don't have a bubbly. It looks creamy now, and so good. We were able to kind of get that water that was on the outside to combine with the soap that was in the brush. And then what we do is we keep going, and we watch the lather, and when it looks like it's starting to kind of thicken up, then we can start to add some water. Now some guys add water just a few drops at a time. Now since I'm adding 30 milliliters, that would take forever, wouldn't it? Well, you know what? Those guys who just add a few drops at a time, most of the time when they take their brush out of the water, they don't get rid of as much water out of it. They don't shake it like I do. They'll just maybe do 1 or 2 shakes, and then they're starting out with a good bit of water in their brush. So that's why they just need a few drops to complete the process. Oh, look at that. This brush, I have never had this bowl overflow like that. That's just because this brush is so big. I might have to look at some of my other bowls that I have that kind of were even bigger, and I just have quit using them because they are actually too big, because it may be time to bring them in with this brush. That's hilarious. But it had a nice soft feel, this brush did yesterday. The tips felt very soft. It was pretty easy to get to display. It's not just so high density that it's it's not moving on you. You know that it's not this tennis ball wall of furriness. It still has some flex, and that's one of the reasons why I just really enjoyed using it yesterday. I couldn't see. You can see the suds on the side of the bowl there. That is away from me, obviously. And my own hand, my right hand here that's holding the brush, kept me from being able to see it go over the wall there. That's funny. The soap chose the most secretive, exact best way to escape where I wouldn't notice it. And there we go again. Boy, this soap, this brush, gonna have to get a mega bowl. All right, I think we are good. Look at that. That's just gorgeous. All right, I'm gonna get my face wet again. And with that done, this big old, it's huge, folks. And again, the bristles are just kind of moving out of the way of each other. We've got a nice creamy lather in there. And so it's like when I have it up here, I'm using kind of this part of the knot, you know, then I go up under, and then when I switch to the other side, maybe I'm using another section of the knot, you know, who knows, just whatever I feel like doing at the time. And if I feel like I need to add some water, like I did last time, I can just go in and get a few drops, and it doesn't matter where you put it on the knot because it's going to get absorbed, you know. It's not likely to just flip down and go through the handle and come out the other end. I like that. This thing is huge. Now, if you do start having some excess to where you feel like you're gonna just make a mess and you don't want to make a mess, some guys don't mind it. Just kind of take what's on the side of your brush there, rake it off into your bowl. Wonderful scent here. Nice and strong too. Not for the faint of heart. This brush is like a big hug. This is probably my favorite Thader brush. Man, that is nice. Well, look at my shirt. You know, when I added that water, I think some of it did actually kind of mix with the lather and become a little too wet to hang on, you know. All right, very nice, very nice. So today will be the Inked Astra. Going to compare it with yesterday's very nice shave of the, that yesterday was the Etched Astra. And it's going to be the same duration, so that's good. Ooh, yeah, once again, very nice. Cutting smoothly. I can feel the blade edge, but it's a really controlled thing. Very comfortable. I feel like I would really have to make a big lapse in concentration to cut myself here. So I think actually in this case, the inked one for this razor might be doing a little better. The laser one did better with my fat boy. I mean, it goes to show you that there could be just some variables that are coming into play. And if I want to touch up an area, and this lather just feels terrific. It seems to have a great grip on the blade, the razor does, and that is a thing that I enjoy. All right, very good. Little water on my face for the next pass. And then we bring, again, 30 seconds. You know, in the beginning, you saw the lather just didn't develop right away. It took some work, but I've got tons of it. It just took a little bit to kind of coax it out, get it to combine with the water. Man, I'm loving this brush. Oh, and I'm gonna end up with 2-3 more passes than I need. So, you know, when I have excess lather, normally I would rinse it off. I was in a sink, but I'm just kind of wiping it on my towel, and then it will kind of disintegrate over time, right? Well, I bet if I ever ran out of laundry detergent, if I had this towel sitting here for long enough, it would have enough built-up lather on it to clean the rest of my clothes in the laundry pile, you know. All right, yeah, lather is on. The inked Astra is doing great. You might be able to hear it a little bit, but fortunately for me, it's got a great hold on the blade. Big bulky handle. It would be too heavy if it were stainless. Well, it would be quite heavy if it were stainless, but since it's titanium, it is a really nice balance and weight. My Braves won the World Series this year. Very cool. Very cool. They haven't done that in so long. Very comfortable. High degree of comfort here, just like yesterday after the second pass. Both days, wonderful. And I think my lather today is actually a little better than it was yesterday. Yesterday I was complaining a little bit about slowness of razor movement. That's not in place today. So I must have it dialed in a little better today. Or maybe it's got more wetness and I didn't know it could go that far, you know. Oh yeah, look, I've got another 3 or 4 passes of lather in there because I'm about to do the third pass. And oh yeah, look at that. Look at that movement. Very slow. Got all that water weight in there. Oh, that's a good lather. I love lathers that I can push that much water into. Have them stay creamy while being so hydrated. That's just kind of an extra bonus. So this lather gets even better marks than yesterday. The soap base. Very cool. Highland Springs, man, they latched onto a good mix. Got a lot of contemporary soap makers now that are just stepping into the market with good bases. We've got other folks like Barrister and Mann and Declaration Grooming that have been around for longer, and you've been able to see a progression, from older bases to newer. But with the newer ones, it seems like they're hitting the ground running. They've got some kind of good model to go by, I guess. All right, let's see how the third pass goes. Not generating any kind of irritation, anything like that. And I should mention the reason I bought this was because Dan at APR I think his name's Dan, pretty sure. He's the one who did the scent for this one. And it was a limited run. And it sounded like one that I would enjoy. And I had seen him kind of go off the grid a little bit, so I didn't know how quickly his other collab efforts that were out there still on retail market, like this one, I didn't know how quickly they would last, and especially when this one sounded so much just in my wheelhouse with the scent notes. I thought, yeah, let's go ahead and number one, I'll be able to try another soap company that I haven't tried before, Highland Springs. Number two, I'll get a APR scent. You can see their little logo down there. And there we go. So win-win. Win-win for me. Oh, just a terrific shave. In this case, it seems like maybe the inked version was a little better. So, I mean, they really might be so close. They could even be the same exact grinds, and it just, there are other variables at play, like the lather or whatever, you know. So they're just both really enjoyable blades. I've been able to test them with my vintage Gillette new long comb with my Fat Boy. In both of those, with the Fat Boy, they were pretty much identical, maybe giving a nod to the laser edged version. With the Gillette new long comb, I had an edge to the etched version as well. It was a little more pronounced of an advantage there. Now here, slight edge goes to the inked version. So we're kind of going back and forth there. All right, guys. I feel like I could build a house underneath this thing. It's so big. Here is a normal sized Sharpie magic marker. And look, it's almost, it's huge. Oh my goodness. I really enjoyed it again. Terrific. It's the size 6, the 4125, size 6. 2-band, obviously, because the wide band of black, dark color there. Very soft tips without being jelly. Easy splay. Man, it takes longer to rinse because it's just so big. I definitely like to have a bowl where I can put it in and submerge it, because then when the water runs clear, you know it's clean, right? Got to make sure we don't leave soap in the middle of the knot. I am going to have a contest. I must, because one of you guys may be able to come up with a wonderful name for this mega Thader, Thaderzilla. I don't know, but be jotting some ideas down. I'll create a Google form that you'll be able to put your entries in, and then I'll pick the one I like the most. Just tremendous. Oh man, what a great brush. I just didn't see that coming. I didn't see this becoming a favorite of mine. I just didn't see it coming. All right. Well, what are we going to do for the post shave? I don't feel any irritation. I don't feel any razor burn, anything like that. A little bit of post shave slickness going on there. Very nice. And so I'm glad that I'm broadcasting my shaves a day or two after they're done, because I'm going to go back to yesterday's description and add in a little note, a little side note that says the next day I would make a slicker lather and I wouldn't have any of that slowness that I felt with the razor yesterday. I must have just not known that it would take more water so well, and it did. It took it with grace and with gusto and gave me that slickness that I want. So I'm really liking this soap base from Highland Springs right now. How much water did we use for that 30-second load? 30 milliliters again. And yeah, we had 3 passes at least of lather still in the bowl. So remember when I was mixing and I didn't really see anything? I was going to end up with 6 passes of lather, but that was the start. You just weren't seeing anything, and sometimes that's the way it goes. So I could maybe load for 20 or 25 seconds next time and be just fine. Well, I'm really enjoying my Haircut and Shave Company razor, titanium. The handle, very practical as well as beautiful. simple in its design, but there are a few touches that keep it from being boring. The Astra Inked version here was tremendous, and this is not, it's not a spring chicken. This is its like 9th use or something like that. So it's some people would definitely call it binnable by now, but it's still cutting great. It felt wonderful, and it cut very closely. So just drying off the razor pieces on my towel there, and then you know what? Let's go vintage. Alex sent me this Flores Aftershave. This is the Elite one. Got kind of a vintage vibe to this one. Let's do that one tonight. Some leaked through my fingers, so I had to do the back of my hand. Definitely have some skin food in this instead of only alcohol. Probably some, glycerin or, something good like that. Kind of an old school, old man scent, but that's okay because I'm an old man and I am very nostalgic. I like that kind of stuff. Would a new young man kind of like it? I don't know. I don't know what young guys like these days. All right, so I want to take my marker and put a little usage dot right here. There we go. Okay, so the bottom line is we do seem to be trading positions where sometimes the etched one is better, sometimes the inked one is better. I guess the final verdict is they're both just really good. And it might just depend on what razor could maybe bring out different aspects about it. Just really happy with it all the way across the board. Something I'm so curious about, because I jumped into using the long comb recently. Well, this is the short comb. And even though I'm really enjoying my shaves with the H&S razor, I'm going to call it H&S because haircut and shave, like where's the short name for that? Haircut and shave company, haircut razor. Is that what we're going to call it? That's kind of, I was talking with somebody else online. I think they may have said weirdly cumbersome or, some other very apt descriptor to describe the kind of awkwardness that is that name. So we'll just say H&S. We'll just say the H&S razor. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm going to interrupt it, I think, and I'm going to use this. I think I'm going to take it in the bathroom and scrub at it a little bit. I think it needs a little work. This is the short comb, but the thing is that I didn't actually see this coming until I looked at it one day. The base plate here with the short comb and long comb is different. The long comb has a higher raised plate in the middle, and then it has a step down before you get to the open combs. This one kind of has a one long bevel going toward the combs. And it's not just the length of the little down pieces here on the side that is the difference between these two heads. So I'm dying to see if that is going to affect the shave. And I could totally see how perhaps that would give it a whole different shave. And it's not just the length of the combs that makes the difference there. So, matter of fact, you know what they might have done? They might have done that on purpose. They might have done one with that kind of step design, and then here with the longer bevel design. And then they might have been thinking, hey, how are we going to differentiate these with the public? How are people going to know which model to choose? Are we going to try to name the base plate, according to this, design right here? No, how about we make one of them have longer combs that point down right here, because surely that doesn't really affect the shave very much, because if the comb is pointing down, then up here is all the business, And so if the combs are pointing away from your skin, they're not going to impact your skin very much. And so maybe adding that little bit of length and calling it the long comb, it was just an easy way to tell the two different base plates apart. Today is the first time I've had that idea. It'd be funny if it were true. All right. Oh yeah, classic scent. Ah, yeah, I'm going to go to bed smelling good tonight. Thank you, Alex. What a blessing. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we're good. This will broadcast in a couple days. I have a mail call video that I just posted today that now would have been a few days ago if you're watching it currently after being released, where I talked about a lot of the stuff I've gotten in recently, and this big old Thader was part of that. And there we go. So I think the new short comb might be coming up here soon. I'm not sure what we'll do, but there we go. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great to play around. This big Thader, I'm enjoying it, like a big old bear. Take care, guys. Watch out there with COVID. Get yourself vaccinated, please, and just be careful out there. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. I hope this video here has some content that's helpful for you somehow in your journey. Take care now. Good night.